What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube world? This is Chris, aka Barn on 11970, and thank you as always for checking out my video. All right, guys, we got a video that I want to talk about. It seems most people are starting to wake up, at least around the world. But I'm going to post a link to this article to show, and this is about people starting to wake up about what Israel is doing to Palestine and the Gaza Strip, and how the media is basically blocking it out. And it also shows that we, the people, can make a difference. And the best way to make the difference in anything is to hit people in the pocketbook. And if you know anything about a billionaire named George Soros, he was investing in a Israeli company, and he decided to sell the stock because of the fact of how many people are starting to not buy the product or anything that's being supported by Israeli terrorism, because that's basically what it comes to. Whether the mainstream media wants to talk about it or not, the fact that people in Israel are setting up, there are teenagers, and there are plenty of videos and there's plenty of pictures that you could check all over the place about this, where they set up couches and barbecues and sit there watching Gaza being basically bombed like it's some kind of event or some party. And you'll never see this on mainstream media because, you know, mainstream media supports this stuff. And I've said this, and it comes to any nation, any people. Violence is not the answer. And if you cannot do things peacefully, then there's something wrong with you. And if you cannot have communications, and I understand there are conflicts throughout the world, but they're bombing people, women and children, and they're showing images of this stuff, and they're celebrating it, and then keeping it away from people. But people are learning the truth. And I could say right now that I have friends that live in the Gaza Strip, and they're afraid for their lives. And nobody in the world is helping them because most people are scared to talk about things that are honest and true. So I'm going to say right now, if you support what Israel or any other country is doing, that's why I even say about my own country, when we're bombing other countries and doing things that are wrong, wrong is wrong. And if you live in fear, you're obviously easily controlled and easily influenced. But you could see by this article that people are actually starting to stand up. And if you don't support this stuff, you have to make a stand. Otherwise, in a way, you're allowing it to happen. So I want to show this article because maybe it'll get someone out there that wasn't aware of this to actually pay attention to what's going on outside of what the mainstream media is reporting or not reporting. Because there's an old saying that says not telling the truth is the same as lying. So let's get into this article a little bit. This was something that somebody gave me on my Facebook page, Barn on 11970, and just in case if you're interested in joining my Barn on 11970 Facebook page, just make sure you go to the one that says community and not entertainment, because somebody made a fake account, and the one that's marked for as an entertainer, that's not me. So whoever did it took my name and everything and stole my pictures and made their own channel. So let's get into this article. And of course, like I said, I will post the link. All right. Soros Fund Management, the family office of the billionaire investor George Soros, has sold his stake in SodaStream, the soda-making appliance producer that profits from the Israeli occupation of Palestinian territories and was made popular by actress Scarlett Johansson's endorsement. I did not know that. That makes me not respect her very much. The decision comes from a number of big international investors, including fund links to the Microsoft founder Bill Gates. What a surprise. Joined a burgeoning financial boycott of Israel amidst a push by the boycott, disinvestment and sanctions movements, and other groups seeking the rights for Palestinians. Nothing wrong with that, by the way, because don't people around the world have the right to be free, have the right to be sovereign, have the right to not be bombed? SodaStream, headquartered by the Israeli city of Lod, has its main factory in the West Bank settlement of, I have no idea how to pronounce that, I'm not going to. And this is in quotes. Soros Fund Management does not own shares of SodaStream, end quote. Michael Vatkin, a spokesman for the fund, told the National, declining to comment further on why it sold its shares. I'm not going to read any more of this. It's basically saying that the shares are falling. So billionaires, they respond to money. If you don't buy products, they will change them. And this is actually funny because I made a comment the other day, because some people that watch my channel know that every now and then, just to kind of get away from this kind of stuff, because it can be a little stressful at times, I watch a couple of video game channels and everything because it's just something I used to be. I used to be a gamer at one point. That used to be my life. I mean, being up until 6 o'clock in the morning playing online games with people, that was one of the things I used to do before I was quote-unquote awoken. But there were people that are always talking about how they complain about, oh, it's unfair that they're doing this to us, and it's unfair that they're giving out these bad games, and, oh, all of this, and yet they continue to buy it. And somebody made a video the other day about GameStop, where they started to require in Philadelphia people to have their thumbprints placed on their whatever. They were basically having you, if you want to buy a game from them at this particular GameStop, you had to give them your thumbprint. And there will be people out there that do that. And I made a statement that all you have to do is, if you want to stop this stuff, you boycott places like GameStop and other people from doing stuff like that. Otherwise, if it works, because people are dumb enough and say things like, oh, if you have nothing to hide, which is the most lazy, ridiculous statement that you can say. Because anybody out there that says, oh, if you have nothing to hide, you should allow them to just invade your privacy, then please let me know where you live. I'll get a video camera, and I will go to your house at 4 o'clock in the morning and film what you do, go through all of your stuff, watch your wife and girlfriend as she showers, which I don't think my wife would appreciate, but you get what I'm saying? Just because you have nothing to hide does not mean that your world should be an open book where other people have the right to view what you decide to do, where you decide to go. I mean, if you're a criminal and you're hurting people, then yeah, you should have those kind of situations. But this is taking away freedoms from regular, normal, law-abiding citizens. Or I should say people. You don't even want to be a citizen. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, check out some of my other videos. But when I'm talking about things like Gaza Strip, we are fed so much propaganda on this. And the media, and it proves what agenda is. It's going in one direction. And this is not just one particular country's problem. This is a world problem where any nation that goes around bullying other nations to take their resources, take their land, take their money, gain their power, whatever, it's just wrong. And people are starting to boycott these things, and I'm proud of that. So I'll tell you right now, as far as this product, this SodaStream is concerned, I would never touch it. And the fact that Scarlett Johansson endorses this stuff, well, as attractive as that actress is, I've just lost all respect for her. Not that I think she cares, and I'm not worried about that anyway, but the people out there are showing through their pocketbooks and through their wallets that they can make a change. So even when you talk about the GameStop thing with the thumbprint, yeah, it may not seem like a big deal, but what happens is if that all of a sudden works because people are dumb enough to do it, and other companies say, you know what, that's a good idea. Or maybe we have to do that. Let's give the thumbprint. And then you notice how they always say it for security. They want to scare you with that, make you think that they're going to protect you. I mean, really, if you think about it, like, for example, these illusions of freedoms, like the checkpoints at airports and everything, which, by the way, since the TSA has done all the things that they're doing and the NSA is spying on us and everything, I refuse to fly. I have not flown since, and I never will, because of the fact you have to make a stand, and sometimes stands create sacrifice. So if I have to drive somewhere instead of flying, I absolutely will, because I'm not going to sit there with my arms up letting some person probe me or go underneath some radioactive device for the illusion of freedom. Because not for nothing, if there was a terrorist out there trying to damage things, do you think he's going to sit there waiting online at the airport? Or do you think maybe he'll buy his way in through a employee's entrance and do something that's not protected by the people at TSA. I mean, where does it stop? It's nothing but illusion. And people have to start making a stand, because eventually the people that you ignore and you don't help protect, well, one day they're gone. And then they move on to the next layer. And then maybe someday they might get to your layer. And you'll be wondering why no one's there to help you. Well, if you didn't bother to help anyone else, and that could be as simple as speaking out, then how do you expect other people to care about what happens to you? And where do we draw the line of our freedoms? I mean, where do we go with this whole, oh, I have nothing to hide stuff? Because I have nothing to hide. I have no criminal record. I think the last thing I did even remotely close to being wrong was a speeding ticket that was probably in, God, 2003? I don't even remember. I got a speeding ticket. That was the last crime that I've ever committed. So I have nothing to hide, but does that mean that I want a government agent to come into my house or film what I do, or watch what I do, or listen to what I do? People have to start waking up, because eventually what happens if there's checkpoints? Because you know that people are just doing their job. Well, that doesn't necessarily mean that their job is good. And if you're just allowing these things to happen, it gets progressively worse. So let me ask anybody out there throughout the world, because I have people all over the world watching my channel, is the world a better place? Is it getting better? Because if it is, then we have nothing to worry about. But obviously, if there are that many people that are protesting, that many people making a stand, that many people speaking up, then obviously there's something wrong. And the fact that the mainstream media is not talking about this stuff proves their agenda. And that's why I shut off my cable. I don't watch cable TV. I haven't in almost about 2 years now. People should be boycotting that. Excuse me. They should be boycotting that stuff. So my hat's off to the people that are boycotting this. And it shows that somebody like George Soros only cares about money. And when he finds out he's starting to lose money, he'll use whatever excuse he can to get out of there. And the plain and simple fact is, people are starting to wake up to what Israel is doing over in Gaza, and the fact that our country is backing it up and not saying anything. We'll give sanctions to Russia for supposedly bombing that Malaysian plane, because they obviously knew who it was 30 seconds after it was done, because they already pointed fingers at Russia. We'll give them sanctions. But the fact that Israel is sending rocket after rocket, killing women and children in the Gaza Strip, and we do nothing about it, shows the hypocrisy. So all the countries out there that allow this stuff to happen. And you notice it's not us, the people. We don't have the choice. It's the governments that do all this stuff. They're the ones that regulate what you see, what you hear, what you're educated with, what you put in your mouth, what's put in the air. And these are the people we're supposed to trust. And it's so funny how people will attack somebody like me for speaking out. Well, you know what? Here I am with my face here saying I'm not afraid. I'm not worried. The NSA is going to spy on you for watching this video. You type a comment, guess what? You're being spied on. If you've ever watched a video on any of this stuff, you can hide your face or not. It's traced. The idea is not to be afraid about it. Because if everybody stood up peacefully, and I don't know how many times I could stress the whole peaceful part, we can make a change. And what is wrong with making a change if people are not happy? When the very few at the top are profiting off of the masses who are basically suffering, there is something wrong with that. And why people settle for mediocrity is something I will never understand. And quite frankly, I'm glad I don't. So if you want to read that article, I will post the link. Like I said, I keep my videos real. I don't edit them. So if I say something wrong or whatever, I just keep it because I want people to see this is just who I am. I have nothing to hide as well. And it's so funny because I still have, to this day, people making all these false accusations about me and stuff like that. And they're always faceless cowards who don't show themselves. They're the ones living in fear. They're the ones living in denial. And they're the ones that eventually will have somebody knocking on their door, and they're going to wonder why no one came to save them. Karma has a funny way of finding people. So spread the word. If you have a problem with what somebody's doing, if they're doing something wrong or criminal or killing your fellow humans? Because after all, whether we are Americans or British or French or Colombian or Mexican or Canadian or Australian or Russian, Chinese, whatever, we're all human. Do we all forget that? Do we not understand what divide and conquer is all about? It's separating people through religion, through patriotism, through all these little nooks and crannies here and there to get us to fight amongst ourselves, instead of seeing that we are all from the same planet, we are all the same species, and we are all supposed to be united to each other. Instead of looking the other way when something's bad's happening over here, you say enough is enough. Otherwise, we just let bullies win, and then just let them take over everything, but then don't complain about it. So pass these videos along. Make videos for yourself. Don't be afraid anymore. There's nothing wrong with standing up for human rights. It's the right thing to do. And if people want to call you an enemy or a terrorist for it, well, like I said, whether it's true or not, and I actually went on the Homeland Security website to try and find my Bar None channel, and it's not there, so I don't know what accusation they were making. But even if they were, I don't care, because I'm preaching nonviolence. I'm talking about your rights, government definitions, legal definitions, saying how we have the right to have a change as human beings. And if I'm going to be labeled a terrorist for that, then the people that are labeling me are the problem, not me. So you shouldn't worry about that, because I hate to tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, whether you're a troll, whether you're a hater, whether you love this channel, or whether you're just here for the first time, if you're on the computer and you're doing anything on the computer, NSA is watching you. Okay? Let them. Let them see that the people are fed up with the lies. We're fed up with the control. You have no right to spy on somebody that did nothing wrong. You're infringing on my rights. When do we make a stand? Otherwise, if you stand for nothing, what's the purpose of being here? You know, watching people suffer could be entertaining for some, but that doesn't make you a very good person. Definitely doesn't make you a very good human being. So I hope somebody gets something out of this. Check out that link and see that you can make a difference. If you want to stop problems with banks, stop putting your money in the banks. You want to stop with what the government's funding, stop giving them your money. We're promoting these things by allowing other people to take responsibility, and we think we're not directly involved. We are all. And that's why I try and get out as much as I can of this system. And I wish other people would do that, become more independent. And that's why, like my organic products and stuff, I use them myself. My wife uses them. We don't buy the chemically laden, perfumed garbage anymore. We're eating better. And eventually we want to start learning how to grow our own food. What's wrong with that? If that makes you an enemy of the state, well, then you should question the state that's calling you the enemy. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it always when you guys like it, when you favorite, when you share it. It helps me get this information out, because obviously corporations like YouTube, even though they're nice enough to let me put these videos, they're not exactly helping me to promote them, because truth can actually damage these corporations. And if you don't keep giving them your money, it makes it a lot more difficult for them. So you want to hit them where it hurts? Get them in the pocketbook. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day, and don't forget to have your trolls spayed or neutered. Peace.